Alright folks, so what we have here is a bottle of George Dickel white corn whiskey. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open this bottle up and I'm going to give it a taste. But before I do that, why don't y'all go grab a drink, come on back, and we'll get started. Alright, so hopefully everybody made it back. So yeah, let's take a quick look at this. See if I can get it to focus in on that label so you can get a look at what it says. So what we have is, like I said, some white corn whiskey. Now, this is made from a mash that George Dickel uses in a lot of their bourbons. So essentially, this is just bourbon that, once it's been processed, doesn't go into barrels for aging. And so Dickel does something that's a little bit unique. So after they make their bourbon, they pull it out of the still, they filter it through sugar maple charcoal. So if you look down here, it actually says corn whiskey distilled in charcoal to mellow at something Tullahoma, Tennessee. I can't pronounce that. And it comes out at 91 proof, which is a little bit hot. And some folks say that they do that so you can mix this with a little bit of water or put some ice in it to get it to open up and enjoy the flavors a little bit more, so it's a little less concentrated, because people typically will put whiskey or bourbon with a little bit of water, a little bit of ice. We're going to drink this straight at first, and then if I don't die, then perhaps we'll have a quick mixed drink. So let's go ahead and get this open. It's got a cork top. No, that's a great sound, isn't it? I have never had this before, so we're all in for a little bit of a treat. But I have had a few different white whiskeys. Now, what's interesting about this white whiskey, I talked a little bit about the mash that they use to make it, is it's 84% corn, 6% rye, and 6% barley. Now, in order to be considered bourbon, it's got to be at least 50% or 51% corn. And so that's how this is still called a corn whiskey. A lot of times you'll see things, this says mellow is moonshine, that are saying, hey, this is a moonshine or this is a white whiskey. But in order to call it a corn whiskey, I believe it has to be 80% corn. So you'll see other companies use their bourbon mash or their whiskey mash that might be 55, 60% corn, and then a combination of rye, wheat, barley, something like that. Or you even see companies that'll make things with fruit in it, and then that's considered like a neutral grain spirit. And then even some cases they'll even call them a vodka, and I'm not exactly sure why or how that's the case. So let's give this a quick little sniff and see what we get. It smells sweet to me. I do smell the alcohol in it, but it's not overpowering. It doesn't have like a really strong vapory smell. Let's go ahead and we're going to give this just a quick little taste and see what it has a really soft mouthfeel to it, and I think that's because the water that they use down there is soft. Woo! The finish on that's a little hot. When it comes in your mouth, it's very sweet. It is it has a little bit of a corn flavor. You'll hear that. A lot of people say, oh, it's got cornbread, it's got buttery corn, it's got popcorn flavor. I mean, you can definitely taste that it's a corn whiskey. It doesn't taste like buttery cornbread or anything like that to me. It does not taste like a vodka either. So, and of course, naturally, it doesn't taste like a bourbon, because bourbon gets a lot of its flavor from the oak barrels. It is relatively smooth. I was actually a little bit surprised about that. It has a little bit like maybe a hot pepper or red pepper finish, a little bit of burn going down the pipe. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a bigger sip and see what happens. Well, that's really easy drinking. It says mellow is moonshine. It does not taste anything like moonshine to me, and not 100% sure why or how that is, but it really does have a little bit of a peppery bite to it at the end. But it's good. I like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix up ourselves a little bit of a drink here and see how it goes with my favorite mixer. We just put a little bit in there, right? Here we go with a little bit of Diet Mountain Dew. A lot of people don't know this, that Mountain Dew was actually comes from the Appalachia area, and was originally created as a mixer, not as a cola. I mean, it is a soda or a cola or something like that. Let's mix this thing up real good. But its original intended purpose was to mix with liquor. I'm not sure if it was corn liquor. It probably was. But let's go ahead and let's give this a sip. I can really smell the white corn whiskey coming off the Mountain Dew. I guess because as it fizzes or effervesces, it releases some of that into the air. It tastes really good actually, and now in here I do get much more of a corny corny taste with the Mountain Dew. Damn, son, that's good. I'm probably going to drink a couple of those tonight. So maybe I'll get to editing this and try to get it uploaded before I have too many. Thanks, everybody.